Curry was shooting the lights out of the poor Rockets. I mean, them 3-pointers just be raining on them cats. I mean, serious.
So taking JT&T Air Department report on the volcanic ash, combined with the with all the reports that we've taken on the Fukushima radiation and the Moro's Ocean.
Yeah.
With the dead fish and the microbes eating the decomposed bodies. What is your decision regarding the request for an emergency declaration for the west coast of North Mexico, Imperial Majesty?
Islam, Your Excellency. All right. We've only had one council meeting on this particular topic, and we're going to have an extraordinary session on this topic on the next Love Day. But there are things that have already been in discussion with His Excellency the Minister for the Journey, Travel, and Transport, and agreed the report that you're citing. We've seen this happen before, where in so-called Iceland you had that volcano that went off and put all that ash and shut down every airport in so-called Europe or Sector 5 for the Mexican Empire, and shut down every daggone airport for almost 8-9 Earth days. And that was only one, just one volcano. We're talking about the Ring of Fire volcanoes all over the place. We're talking about underwater volcanoes going off. And the amount of ash that's being put into the air is going to impact air travel. Agreed. We know it's going to impact the economy in one form or another for the Mexican Empire by default, and for others directly. So, in terms of the Grand Wazir's suggestion or formal request for an emergency status for the West Coast, there's many moving parts here. The earthquakes that we were watching up and down the left coast, as well as dealing with the ash coming off of all the volcanoes that's pumping all that stuff into the atmosphere, is getting into the troposphere, the ionosphere, is being carried all across the planet. I'm aware that what goes up does come down. There are no Mexican nationals in direct line of threat right now, but I do know that if you continue to see this type of ash, that there's going to be folks that have all types of health issues. And some folks who have weaker immune systems, it's going to impact them. Some of these folks are on planes and they're traveling. Some of them are on other modes of transport, and they may bring that stuff eastward. You know, if you have folks that are out there on the left coast and they're getting into the water, knowing full well that they should be in that water, that's a concern. I don't know what the other folks are doing. I know that since we have no nationals that are out there, and we have none within our sphere of influence that's out there, I would be disinclined to go with anything beyond an advisory at this point. I'm open to further discussion regarding and a formal warning. But right now, advisory is about as far as I'm prepared to go. The health minister has to give me some more information. He's already started doing particular things. He wanted to meet 48 standard Earth hours from now on the topic. But I figured, preliminarily speaking, we can do that. However, a much further in-depth report will come at the next session, that extraordinary session. And based on what His Excellency has to say regarding those microbes and what becomes airborne, how much acid rain are we going to be looking at as opposed to what is currently coming down, because where you have all that volcanic ash, it's going to be turning the air metallic, and it's going to be turning the air acidic and all these things. And when it gets into the clouds and it comes down as rain, we know this is going to impact food chain. We know it's going to impact commerce one way or another. And yes, it could impact natural persons, including the Mexican Empire nationals. Depending on what His Excellency is saying about those microbes and anything that's an airborne threat will determine whether or not we would go with anything stronger. But I would say anyone that is crazy enough to get into the Moro's Ocean now, they're begging for it. All that cesium-137, all that strontium-90, and all these other things that's coming out of Fukushima that's being put into the water at that dead reactor every day. And the half-life on all that stuff is probably 2 or 3 generations from now. So it's going to be a threat for quite some time based upon the current technology that's available to do anything about it. So I'll be inclined to say, at this point, I am disinclined to order an emergency for the left coast, but we are going to put in place a formal advisory for all the Mexican Empire nationals that are considering going that way. We're going to shut that down. We don't want anyone going past the mountain range, and we don't want anyone doing business with particular parties that might be doing business on a regular basis on the left coast, because they may have those microbes or other things that could make them sick, that they could actually communicate to them and make our nationals sick. So I am prepared to go that far at the moment. That's the best way I can answer your question at this time, Your Excellency.